Thank you. Good day, everybody, and welcome to Geneva. I'm Sergio Buonomo, the Chief of Study Group Department. I'm going to present the activities of the study groups, the structures, and whatever is related to it. The study group department basically manages the activities of the study groups that develop recommendations, ITOR technical reports and handbooks. We give support to conferences, and our work is governed by the ITOR resolutions, which are decided at the Assembly. I will see that later on. We have basically 6 groups. Then we have technical groups. Then we have a committee for vocabulary in order to have the same kind of terminology used across the text. And then we have another group, which is the conference preparatory meeting. That is the support we provide in developing agenda items, studies that will be submitted to the following conference. We also have, besides activities in capacity building, communications to and support to administrations, and we also manage cooperation with other ITU sectors together with external organizations or other UN agencies. As I mentioned before, we had 6 groups, and those 6 groups have 3 main activities. They are developed like study group 1 is managing spectrum activities, so emerging technique, engineering technique, management and methodologies, monitoring of the spectrum. Then we have another scientific group that is propagation. So basically develops modeling, propagation fundamentals, point to area, point to point, ionospheric modeling. So all it is necessary for the other groups to be used in developing their studies. Then there is a study group 4 that is the group dealing with satellite services, radio services, and efficient use of the spectrum. We include in this one the fixed satellite service, the broadcasting satellite service, the mobile and radio navigation services, satellite services. Another big group that is working on terrestrial radio services is study group 5, developing land mobile studies, maritime, aeronautical, and radio termination services, fixed wireless, and then IMT systems, which are basically the mobile generation for cellular technology. We also have study group 6 that is dealing with the broadcasting, terrestrial broadcasting delivery, program production, and quality assessment. The last group in the list is science services, study group 7, that deals with time signals, frequency standard emission, radio astronomy, meteorology, and space missions. So all these groups basically cover all the radio waves across the entire spectrum in application of any technology developed. These are the people, just for your information, who are responsible of the groups. In case you need any access, most of them are here and among us, so if you need any specific communication, you can consult with them. The study groups are basically composed of subgroups in order to distribute the work. So we have mainly the activity of the study group. Then it is distributed in working parties, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. And within the working parties, there is a division in working groups, sub-working groups, and so on, in order to focus on specific topic. Which can be a topic on a specific document, like a text, a recommendation, a report, or could be a document which requires the communication to other groups. So this work is in a pyramid and is trying to be distributed in order to progress across the duration of the meeting, which is normally 1-2 weeks, in order to accomplish the duties. And everything goes back to the study group for final approval. What do they do in the study groups? They have three main activities. The studies to maintain the existing publications or update those publications. Then we have studies that are in support of development of new technologies, and therefore they need to create additional publications. And then we have studies in application of WRC or radio assembly resolutions. Basically, these are tasks that are assigned to the study group via the conference preparatory meeting on the agenda items of the future conference. In general terms, and just for you to have an overview of what happens also in other sectors of ITU, we have activities that the study group needs to support, and this deals with emergency communications, mobile system, terrestrial, in terms of railways, amateur service, wireless, so and new technologies coming in. For instance, in the case of the aeronautical, we have the global flight tracking activities, air traffic control. There are a lot of other things which we do together with other organizations. Nowadays, much of the focus is on satellite activities, so there are a lot of activities in Study Group 4 which are dealt with and in cooperation with other organizations or space agencies. Broadcasting systems as well. We have developed the global advanced standards for televisions. And then science and maritime. So basically discover in general terms what are the activities we carry in the study groups. You have seen before there was a slide talking about a 4-year cycle. Basically, we start at the beginning with the Radiocommunication Assembly that decides the methodologies and resolutions addressing the topics to be studied, followed by the WRC conference, which is in red here, developing an agenda for the future conference. This is followed by a couple of days meeting for the CPM first session, basically distributing the work among the study groups. And then there is a start of the study cycle with the meetings of the study groups and working parties. They go on for a couple of years until the second session of the CPM. Basically, they produce documents which will be finally agreed at the second session of the CPM, and they will become the CPM report to be submitted to the conference. There are few meetings after the CPM just to finalize documentation that goes in support to the CPM report. And we start all over again after 4 years with the Radiocommunication Assembly and so on. So basically, this is the cycle. And among this cycle, we approve recommendations report in support of new technologies, as we said before. If you want to go more in detail, you will see that there are activities also to cooperate to regional organizations, and we organize an interregional workshop every year before the conference. So the first one will be next year, and this will be held in Geneva, normally basically inviting all the regional organizations to provide their status of studies towards the conference. At the same time, there are activities here like capacity building activities. World Radio Seminars is one of them. And then we have regional radio seminars, which we will address later in these presentations. And basically the 4 years developed in such a way. At this moment, we are at the end of 2024, and we are highlighting what is the seminar which is started today. What the Radio Assembly does mainly is to define how the work of the study group has to occur, how it has to be organized, and how the department, the study group department, has to support those activities in terms of planning meeting, planning activities, coordinating the distribution of documents, reception, publications of documents together with other ITUR offices. And basically, we work on the activities of the agenda of the conference. This slide is just for your information. You will see more about it in a later presentation about the CPM. Basically, the agenda item of the conference are distributed through all the groups, all the working parties, and they are indicated in this slide. And then everything will be coordinated at the end in the second session of the CPM to create the report. Types of publications we produce in the study groups, questions, which are statement of technical operational procedures, studies, and which are basically the guidance to develop recommendations or handbooks. We have recommendations that are developed within the groups on technologies or procedural. Those ones may be or may not be included in the radio regulation, depending on the conference, depending on the topics, and therefore they may obtain a mandatory status at later stage if so decided by the conference. Then we have a series of technical reports that are basically covering all the radio topics. And then we have handbooks which are more a compendium of recommendations and report and material that it's useful to address specific radio services. So we have handbooks on small satellites, we have handbooks on land mobile systems, and so on. The publications which you can find on the web pages are normally collected by series. So we have broadcasting, satellite delivery, mobile, radio wave propagations. So they have some acronyms there, but not always they really correspond because there are cross topics activities which are covered by the same publications. But going through this, there are two links in this slide. On the bottom where you can click and see all the recommendations which are currently in force and all the reports currently in force. Few words about World Radio Seminar. This is one of the two World Radio Seminars we hold during the 4-year cycle. Basically we have 3 regional radio seminars per year held during the 4 years. So we will have a series of about 12 events which are organized around the world upon invitation for some administrations, but we of course try to cover all the areas, ITU areas, and all the globe in order to facilitate participation of any administration. Recently we are also organized, and this has happened in 2024, workshop for the national table of frequency allocations. You will see in the next coming days a lot of activities doing how to read the radio regulation and the national frequency, the international frequency table. There are workshops organized after the conference to show what is the impact to those national plans as a result of WRC. Those capacity building, as I mentioned before, they are distributed around the world upon invitation from administration. Some of them have been held recently in Asia Pacific, in Africa, in Americas. BR also offers some fellowship for the participation to these events. It is quite limited amount of resources, but we still offer fellowship for the participation. These are events which are in a short scale what will happen in this event today, this World Radio seminar, but they are more tuned to the specific needs of a region. So there are specific sessions dedicated to what is requested by the hosting administration, and it's more of interest to the specific region. We have mentioned before the collaboration with other ITU sectors, development sector and the standardization, together with the activities of the ITU General Secretariat. And we have a high cooperation with external organizations. External organization is a large world of organization of all kinds. Some of them are international, some others are regional. And they basically work on specific topics where ITUR can provide a support and a contribution with the recent studies on radio wave technologies. And so you will see activities on satellite, activities on IMT, which is the mobile generations, activities on the efficient use of the spectrum, and so on. We also touch upon activities like climate change, where the radio part component can give a great support to these activities. We have also the possibility to organize events like workshop in order to convey and advertise the current studies. Recently, we had a workshop on broadcasting for the future of television. This is an event which is run every year in different countries, sometimes in Geneva, sometimes together with other sectors in different locations. We also organized this year a global ITU WMO, World Meteorological Organization, workshop and seminar, and we do this also with other regional organizations. So basically with that, we cover activities of ITUR on radio technology, and we convey these messages to all other organizations around the world. With that, I complete my presentation. Thank you.